Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? This your guy Ray Harmer. What's up? Good evening, good evening. Let's get into it. Yes, we're gonna be talking about the third episode of the She-Hulk. Yes, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have, unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen already the third episode of She-Hulk where Megan Thee Stallion was on there, teaching uh Jennifer Walters how to twerk. All right. Now, well, and actually, in real life, yes, she was teaching her how to fucking twerk. So, uh, but yes, as I will say this, I don't have no problem. I don't have no problem with it. But the problem I have with this show is, okay, because in the beginning, all right, as you know, that she chewed out a abomination, for breaking out and all that shit. But as everybody's guesses, ring true that it was Wong. You know, it was a possible person, breaking them out. So it was Wong and and him being there, that was hilarious too. Because he was willing, to come through and to the prison and all that shit, to say, hey, he's totally cleared of any wrongdoings, because there's any wrongdoing, that was done, of the cause of him being, breaking out and shit. That's me. So, yes. Uh, so I will ask. So as Social Supreme, I'll ask you, to excuse his charges. So, well, as is willing, to grant him his parole. But it was slick. It was funny because they was slick trying to get him up on some charges, basically breaking him out and shit. They're like, damn, hell, we gotta uh, bring something, to the table about it. So, uh, and Wong, he was like, oh shit, yeah, gotta go. It's time to go. So yeah, that was funny. That was funny. I believe to me that was the most funniest part to me in the damn show. Shit, because it was really, yeah. Um, there's no fighting scenes in this episode at all. No, and for the scenes, it seems like they're taking her She-Hulk in this direction of being this goofy ass lawyer, and as by now, as there, the spoilers have been put out there. Okay, that Daredevil is going to be making an appearance in the She-Hulk series. So where I don't know if she's defending him or working with him. Um, but yeah, but Tatiana, she seemed, very excited with working with the guy, about the project. So, uh, but from what it seems, from her interviews, I think I think it's been, clear that she's a feminist. Yeah, that she's a feminist, and she's all for obviously, being this girl powered up role, you know, in revealing all the attributes of what a feminist is. So yeah, she's showing that she's all for it. Um, but yeah, we're gonna play around a little bit, today with it because I have a video that I want to show. But yes, oh hell. But yes, I was expecting some fucking at least like one fight scene, y'all. Come on. I mean, that's where I'm really shitty about. I don't really give a fuck about the woman twerking, all right? Shake off all those damn flakes, damn it. Shake off all those damn gamma flakes. All right. I don't give a fuck. Like, damn, at least give me some twerking, like you twerking on a fucking enemy's head and shit after you done beat his ass, beat him or her ass to the ground and shit. Come on, man. Like, that little scuffle she had at the end of that shit. That wasn't shit. I'm not gonna count that as a damn fight scene. And we all know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a damn fight scene. I mean a fight scene where where she's damn near evenly matched and it's damn near a dog fight. And for how y'all, deal with us when it comes to bringing out this shitty She-Hulk series. This shitty She-Hulk series is trash. And we deserve, as fans, for you guys to come out with, by God, at least half a fucking episode of where it's just nothing but straight fighting. Fighting with one of her villains, from years back. So in the comics. So they didn't get that straight. So it's like, damn, what's next? She-Hulk in the strip club? Is that what I'm gonna see next? Come on now. You know. So it's like, damn, we gotta stop it, man. We gotta stop it.
I wanted a market degree, but juggling work and school is tough. WGU doesn't have set login times. I take courses when I want.
Tatiana, hello. How are you today? Genuinely, how are you today?
Genuinely?
Genuinely.
And the people talking, it's Tatiana, Maslany, and this Andy chick. Here, I'll pull it up. Yeah. So that's what's being played. All right.
Great. Yeah. Good. I'm glad. I'm excited to talk to you about She-Hulk. Girl, I love this show. I knew I was going to love it within the first 5 minutes of episode 1. And that is largely because you solve a very important mystery. Thank you so very much for letting us know that Captain America is not a virgin.
Yes. And I mean, this is the kind of important stuff that we get into in She-Hulk. The questions that you have about the MCU that you were too afraid to ask. And Jen Walters will.
A question that men them in their right mind, fans in their right mind wouldn't give a shit about. So yeah, I don't give a fuck if he was a virgin or not. As long as he's Captain America and whooping ass, that's all I give a shit.
will answer them for you.
We love her for it. A question that I have to ask you, and I'm not even a little bit afraid to ask it. I really need to know what it's like to twerk with Megan Thee Stallion while you're presumably in like your mocap pajamas.
Yes, it is the greatest joy of my life. Truly, one of the highlights of my entire existence on the planet. I'm such a huge fan of
Are you serious, bitch?
hers, and when I found out this was happening, Jessica Gao told me. I think she told me like 3 days before it was going to happen.
Oh,
Because she was like, I don't want you to be in a catatonic state for 2 weeks. If I had told you this too early, we would not have gotten any filming done. so it was like, it truly was the greatest. She's amazing. She's a queen.
Well, I just spoke to Kat Cuero, who told me that that's working.
Oh my God, she's a queen, bitch. Stop it, bitch. Oh yeah, you're a feminist, bitch. Oh, so you're not one of those white girls that just gets so fucking in shock and awe of the negative aspects of this fucked up ass culture, bitch. Please.
Was all you. Apparently you can twerk with the best of them.
I've like I said, I've dreamt of that moment, and so I had trained. There's
preparing. That was preparation that we're seeing.
Totally.
Well, speaking more seriously, I love She-Hulk. I love just the whole feel of this show. I have to imagine breaking the fourth wall is just an actor's dream. My favorite one is not the very first one, but like the first time it happens where you do like the double take with Bruce. Tell me about just filming all of these fourth wall things, because again, She-Hulk's been doing it since before Deadpool or anybody else was doing it. So how was that for you to get to play with that?
Well, it was one of my favorite elements of the comics when I got to read them. I was like, this is so special. And for me, it spoke to some of the deeper themes of the show, which also just Jen's transformation, her ability to stay in the same consciousness and to stay herself throughout this transformation says so much about how she, as a human woman, has moved through the world and how she's dealt with her emotions and how she's had to repress them or push them down or control them. And also the address to camera, while it's just also funny and like fun to bring people in, it's also a wink to her hyper consciousness. She's so aware of all of the mechanisms in play around her and where she fits into them. And to me, that's like this amazing double meta thing that the show is doing that feels very resonant to me and very kind of like very alive as a woman.
Absolutely. Well, and you mentioned the feel of being a woman in the show. That's what I love about it. It has such a female energy because yes, you're in it with Bruce, but also you're in it with your best friend Nikki, and you can just feel that a woman was at the helm of this show.
Of course, you bitch will love that.
For a lot of Marvel things, as we both know. How was that on set? How was just being in that kind of very female energy and making this beautiful show?
Yeah, I mean, the first day was Ginger Gonzaga and I like in a corner booth at the bar at Legalese, and where she's trying to teach me how to swipe date, and I'm like I've got like a stack of work this high in front of me, but it was all of these like scenes about friendship and these scenes about connection and these scenes about what your friends do to draw you out and how you have ideas about who you are and you struggle to push through those. So it's all these like very relatable things, and it was with this like joyful feminine energy that we played in those spaces. And I do like for me, I've had a deeply internalized misogyny about femininity. Like I have just like our culture looked at.
Bitch, what the hell does that mean? You always had a deep misogyny towards femininity. Someone in the comics explain. Because I rewind that shit back. Oh, hell.
Have just like our culture looked at it in a certain way. And to be able to embody it in this character and to feel my own femininity about femininity, for me, I've had a deeply internalized misogyny about femininity. Like I have just like our culture looked at it in a certain way. and to be able to embody it in this character and to feel my own femininity and express it with like this joy was just it's like a wonderful gift. And to have it exist in this, like it's a bit of a boys club, the Marvel world, and a little bit. So it feels kind of revolutionary, to have it in there.
Absolutely. Well, Tatiana, unfortunately, that is my time, but thank you so very much.
Yeah, it's okay. Of course. Of course. All right. Yeah, brother J Lock. All right, shoot, come through, bro, when you can, man. Whenever you get settled. Yeah, because I'll be live for a little bit long. But yes, come now. All right, as we man, that stands in our masculine frame. You know what I mean, and yeah, and they're willing to uh, establish their masculine dominance. All right, as we all know that women such as this are going to take a joy in playing such a character. It's yes, we knew that you was gonna have such a joy, playing a female lead role character in a show where she has such power and and yes, and exuding all this feminist energy. Yes, we knew that that you're gonna enjoy that to express this sense of female dominance. Yes, of course you guys would like to see that shit. Yeah, yeah, girl, yeah. That's how you do it. Yeah. Yeah, girl, shake your ass. Yeah. Say fuck them. Saying, oh yeah, fans. Oh yeah, I thought y'all was gonna see anywhere near the classic fucking She-Hulk. Oh hell no. Oh shit. Fuck y'all. I'm gonna shake my ass, bitch. I don't want to fight. I just want to shake my ass. Fuck the fans. Fuck what y'all want. Y'all get this. Number gamma booty cheeks. Are you serious? Now the bitch can twerk a little bit now. Shit, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, but damn it. But why Meg the Stallion, bitch? Oh hell no. And yes, and of course you're a clear feminist, bitch, because obviously a lot of the feminists like fucking Megan the Stallion. I have yet to see a feminist that doesn't like Megan the fucking Stallion. And she's one of y'all feminist leaders, one of y'all feminist icons. Bitch, you idolize a bitch that lies. And you can bet your ass damn hell that she adores Cardi B. I wouldn't be surprised damn hell they bring that bitch later on them in the episodes. Bitch. And also too within this interview, as I noticed, I'm like, okay, well, how come you ain't talked about, your desire of wanting to play the classic role of the She-Hulk? Not this yeah, I believe it's Al Ewing's run of She-Hulk. You know, how come you ain't? How come you didn't? Show any desire of wanting to play that role, or where she's a little bit more serious, not as goofy and shit, and she's kicking ass. So I'm like, what's the problem? What the fuck, man? So this show, as it is, a garbage show, especially to a lot of the hardcore She-Hulk fans. But I'm looking at it as like when it comes to the action and story and the plotting and shit. It's like, damn, I'd rather see some action of her beating motherfuckers' asses than all this damn feminist bullshit. Straight feminist shit. Yes, and I shall drop the link to see if anybody wants to come up. Um, but yeah, this is totally absurd. Because I know that's what a lot of people want to see. Oh, classic She-Hulk. Hey, but this is the She-Hulk that they chose to go with. Uh, Even though you got, the hardcore She-Hulk fans, even though you are shitty with this show, I get you. For I'm with you. I don't care to see that shit. A bitch shaking her ass. Like, the hell, we see enough of that in real life. All right, let's get down to business. So it's just you guys deliberately destroyed the potential of a show of the greatness that it could have been. Everybody knew them. If they went with the classic She-Hulk and left out all these fucking agendas that they're trying to push through, that they've been pushing through all these other fucking shows and movies, well, that shit would have been badass. Fact is that a lot of his fans, don't give a damn about it. She-Hulk, being the lead of it because hey, it's her show. Fucking, it's She-Hulk, of course. But come on, man, like y'all could have done better with the writing, the applying more fight scenes and shit. Could have done a little better with the graphics. So it's just, come on, like, what's next? And from what they have alluded to, that what's next is going to come is basically Daredevil. So we can expect to see Daredevil and what they're going to do with this. So, I mean, if there's any villains that you guys are pondering about, or what they may bring into this show, leave that in the comments. Leave it in the comments. Um, so yes, I'm gonna play a little bit of some clips, videos. I'm gonna give it a little bit. Wait till some people come through, wants to join. So I'm gonna give it a little bit. So yeah. Instead of having a whole show full of number bullshit, you guys could have applied some decent, some great fight scenes to remember. Nah, but y'all chose this bullshit. Y'all chose to bring a whole strike demon into a fucking show. Ain't that a bitch? And this bitch clearly showing that she's a feminist by showing this great iteration of fucking Megan Thee Stallion. Come on now. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. Let's see. I was just looking at this too. It's kind of offset from She-Hulk, but we're gonna go into it as I just viewed this some time ago. So, if anybody wants to join, hit that link. Where you at? Where you at, buddy? I just looked at your ass too. Yeah, because I kind of have a problem with this motherfucker here. And what's up with all these damn geek feminists and shit? These geek male feminists. I don't want to ruffle motherfuckers' feathers, ass motherfuckers. I would rather show acceptance of it than any pushback, ass on the bitches. Oh, I don't got a problem with it, ass motherfuckers. What the hell is wrong with you?
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and welcome back to the Rumor Roundup. And I have my cup of coffee with me, thank God, because I'm recording this pretty early, and I don't know what I'd do without it. And as we get into our first segment today, a whole host of names have been announced for Phase 5 in the MCU, and rumors abound as to who these guys are playing. So, as far as we're aware, this list is John Boyega, Henry Cavill, Jodie Comer, Daisy Edgar Jones, John Krasinski, Giancarlo Esposito, and Denzel Washington. Now, you guys can probably imagine everybody's kind of foaming at the mouth when it comes to Giancarlo Esposito, John Krasinski, and Denzel Washington. Now, when it comes to Giancarlo Esposito and Denzel Washington, really even John Boyega, we can throw his name in there as well. The rumor going on here is that Giancarlo Esposito is going to be playing Charles Xavier, and people have been reacting to this with mixed reactions. Some love it, some hate it. What's really got me excited here, as much as I love Giancarlo Esposito, I'll watch anything he's in. What's really got me excited here is Denzel Washington and John Boyega, because what it could do is it could basically give us like Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel, and that's what I've been advocating for a long time. Now, fans out there have been screaming that Denzel Washington could play Adam Brashear, and it would be believable, and it would. The biggest downside that I have with Denzel Washington playing Adam Brashear is that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is moving in the direction of hiring younger actors to play characters for longer. Somebody who can play this character for upwards of like 17 years, maybe even 20, if they can kind of keep them along and keep their character that popular. So as much as I love the idea of Denzel Washington playing Adam Brashear, I would much rather it be John Boyega, that he can play the character for longer, and assuming he doesn't have any other contractual agreements, there wouldn't really be anything else getting in the way of his ability to play that character for the long term. But regardless, as far as the John Krasinski Reed Richards rumor goes, this seems to fly in the face with our next piece of news here, which is that apparently Penn Badgley is being cast as Reed Richards in the MCU. Now, this is not absolutely confirmed. We don't know definitively if this is the case. Penn Badgley, I'm not overly against. He's been in a whole bunch of movies that I've never seen, which include like John Tucker Must Die. Having said that, I still advocate John Krasinski plays Reed Richards. I think that needs to happen. I think John Krasinski as Reed, the way he played the character in Doctor Strange 2 was everything I thought it would be, and he would be a phenomenal Reed Richards in the MCU. He exudes that kind of authority. He's also a little cocky and arrogant. He has everything that you need for a person to believably play Reed Richards. Penn Badgley, I'm not 100% sure, but I could see him as maybe being Doctor Doom if they wanted to, or some other role, possibly the Human Torch. But honestly, I want Krasinski back as Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four, and I will never want anybody but him. I will go see other people but him, but at the end of the day, I will only want him to play Reed Richards in the MCU. But moving on to our next bit of news here, apparently Yelena Belova is going to be the leader of the Thunderbolts, which is an interesting change of pace. In the comics, it was Baron Zemo. Undoubtedly, this is going to draw out people who are like, Lord, women in positions positions of authority, or whatever. I don't really care. I think Elaine is probably the best person to lead the Thunderbolts. She's got the capabilities, she's got the fighting prowess, and plus, they're trying to build her up to being the next Black Widow.
See, is that shit I'm talking about?
I don't know how big of a deal this is. Apparently, U.S. Agent and Baron Zemo will be on the team. I guess they'll just kind of be members of the team. At the end of the day, it will still be cool, right? Basically, a team of villains who are brought together. Now, I don't know how far-reaching that's going to be. I don't know exactly what their plot point's going to be, but there have been...
Yes, motherfucker. Yes. I mean, we are tired of that shit. All right? We are... Get it through your head, bro. We are not going to be so accepting with it and okay with it, damn, like you are. All right? Like, you just have no problem with seeing these damn female lead roles and shit, coming out of nowhere. I mean, not out of nowhere, but just coming crazy. Like, come on, man. You should, as a man, you should want to see a male leading role where the man is taking charge and where the man is not taking no bullshit, and he is exhibiting that dominance with no fucking problem. All right. And shutting down all feminist bullshit. So you as a man, you should want to see that. All right. And yeah, them making her as a fucking, as the leader of this damn group and shit and another show. Yeah, fuck that. What the fuck, man? Come on. It's like it's just nothing but like a war going on of just this constant tug of war of motherfuckers, trying to pull motherfuckers back to being all feminist or blue pill and shit. And then motherfuckers just refusing to accept this bullshit. So yeah, I mean, but let's continue.
Some cool Thunderbolts rosters. That's one of the things to know, is that Thunderbolts has kind of been built by Marvel as like the throwaway team, but on the comics you had like Red Hulk, Elektra, which probably none of you guys care about. Deadpool was on that team, and in fact, I want to say that Deadpool, Elektra, and Red Hulk were all on the team at the same time together at one point in time. It's still a cool thing, right? I'm still looking to the Thunderbolts project. So on to our next bit of news here. DC fandoms has been canceled, and before all you guys start freaking out over the fact that Discovery just canceled another thing at DC Comics, this is actually being done because of COVID restrictions are over, and so what DC wants to do is focus more on in-person events, which makes sense because DC fandom was designed to be more of a digital event. I mean, this is not the biggest piece of news ever, but I do believe this is one of those instances when something does need to be said for all the people who are just like, yep, this is Discovery canceling and DC's just, totally jumping the shark and this is the end of all things, right? The end is nigh for DC Comics. That's not really what this is. This is actually them just kind of shifting over to more in-person events as opposed to doing digital fandom events like they've been doing. But before we jump into the really big pieces of news, let's switch over to gaming here for a second. Now, let's talk about some gaming-related content, as we always do here on the Rumor Roundup. And the first real piece of news here is that big...
Well, shout out to Rob for this, you know what I mean? So, yeah, because he could be a dickhead about it, but shout out to him.
Chungus might be coming to multiverses. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who Big Chungus is, Big Chungus has a fan base. People love Big Chungus. This fat Bugs Bunny, and he's supposedly going to be coming to multiverses, which most of you guys who don't know who that is, it's Warner Brothers' own fighting game, which crosses over basically all the properties they own. So basically their version of Super Smash Bros. But it's going to be really cool. And honestly, I think seeing a fat Bugs Bunny out there would be pretty entertaining. And honestly, this is just one of those instances where fans organizing things in such a way can lead to the creation of something awesome. For example, for those of you guys who don't know, the Multiverses game by Warner Brothers was inspired by Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Literally, there was a Scooby-Doo scene where Shaggy got into like a bar fight and somebody put Ultra Instinct music to it from Dragon.
Wow. Are you serious? I didn't know that. Damn, I ain't see this shit.
Ball. And that basically led to a slew of just memes and even its own subculture. Quite literally, Ultra Instinct Shaggy has his own subculture, right? And in fact, like Shaggy's kind of referred to as like Shaggy Power. It's its own thing, right? It's really cool if you ever get a chance. But like literally the whole Ultra Instinct Shaggy thing is at least partially what led to the creation of multiverses. So Brad...
These past few years, sacrificing so much and asking for nothing.
If you want to change the world, you have to be the kind of man
fair use.
who can make the hardest decisions.
Do you really need 2 of those?
Oh shit!
You are everything that's wrong with this city!
You know I seen the commercial.
I'm gonna go,
Oh shit!
Grassroots movements by fans, they do have an impact on the greater industry, and it is really cool to see it unfold, especially here with seeing Big Chungus in multiverses. Now, our next big one is, of course, another instance of Ubisoft screwing up. So for those of you guys who don't know, when it comes to game makers, they usually screw stuff up. And in this instance, Ubisoft, who basically came out and said they were decommissioning older titles. Now, not in the sense that they're getting rid of them, but in the sense that they were removing multiplayer from those titles. Assassin's Creed, Far Cry 3, things like that. And while games like Far Cry 3 are old games, even though the single player is still one of the greatest single player games ever made for a Far Cry game, the point being, actually I'd say it's the best for a Far Cry game. The point being here that there's still an online dedicated fan base for those individual games. And when people saw that Ubisoft was coming out and saying, like, we're just totally decommissioning and shutting down all that online stuff, the bigger concern that people had beyond any multiplayer capability was they would lose access to their DLC. Now, of course, Ubisoft came back and said, no, that's not going to be the case, because Ubisoft and EA, they're the companies where they would just decommission all that online stuff. They would take away everybody's DLC, and then they would make you pay for it again. And so ultimately, it was, again, one of these kind of grassroots things from fans where there was just so much outcry that Ubisoft backpedaled and said, no, we're going to hold off for right now. We're not going to get rid of the online stuff. They're going to do it in October as opposed to doing it in September. So they pushed it back by about a month. And they're also going to let people keep their DLC. So for the time being, people will get a chance to enjoy the online capabilities of those Ubisoft games, but they are going to go away, unfortunately. So, I guess they'll have to find something else to play. So as we segue into our last bit of news here on the Rumor Roundup, we're going to wrap up our gaming segment here by focusing on Spider-Man, which is coincidentally going to be the last topic that we talk about for the Rumor Roundup. But when it comes to the Spider-Man game, which is now on PC, as to be expected, modders are modding the hell out of this game. And you can play as all kinds of different characters. One, the graphics mods look phenomenal. They look insane. And they're only going to get better. You can play as Saul Goodman, which is cool, right? That's really exciting. You can play as Sora from Kingdom Hearts. And if you're particularly morbid, you can play as Uncle Ben's gravestone. Which I have not done. I probably will, to be honest. And I feel like some of you guys are just going to rush to the game to download the Uncle Ben Gravestone mod, and you're going to play as Uncle Ben's Gravestone, which is kind of hilarious watching.
No, fucking hilarious. It's fucking stupid. Damn, let Uncle Ben rest. Shit. Damn it, man. Like, seriously. let Uncle Ben rest. Oh man. Of all the mods y'all created that shit. Oh man. But yes, this was originally about She-Hulk, but yeah. My overall thoughts of the show, it may continue to be in garbage, whatever, or it may pick up and get better. Who knows? With them producing more action scenes and shit, man. That's what I want to see. I want to see the action. Fuck all this other shit, this girly bullshit. I'm like, damn it, man. Come on, come with some action. Come with some characters and shit that hasn't been presented before in the whole MCU. Come with some characters that can do some damage. They can put up a good challenge damage. They can push She-Hulk damage for her to go past her limits or some shit. Come on, man. It's like, show me something fucking worth watching. Come on, Kevin Feige. Come on, MCU. Make it better. Make it better for us. Give us a reason of why we should hurry up and watch a damn She-Hulk, another She-Hulk episode. Show us why. Whereas we can watch something else that's more badass and promising. Because hell, I'm thinking about shit just holding that shit off, period. But I think with a lot of major fans of She-Hulk, I believe you're going to have this small kindling sensation and desire to be curious, to be curious, to allow yourself to be curious enough to check out the episode, to if not to watch it, because you like the show, but to hate watch it. More than likely, you cats are gonna hate watch it, and in that case, I really can't blame you. I really can't blame you. So, yes, no, we'll start to find some cool background music to play while we go live, while we cover these things, and and I may be looking to cover the Rings of Power as well. Uh, Not necessarily a Lord of the Rings fan, but I have seen all of it in its entirety, including with playing, one of the video games. It was pretty decent. It was on one of the older systems. I think the PS2 or 3, I believe. Yeah. So, um, but yeah, it's been made clear, she didn't have to come out and say it, with rocking the label of hey that she's a feminist. Because she has clearly shown that she is a feminist. Your girl Tatiana playing this Jennifer Walters. She has expressed she has greatly expressed that she takes great joy in playing a character that can easily display this female dominance bullshit. The shit should be boycotted because it's bullshit. It's garbage. And look at what the fuck y'all did to Abomination. Y'all made Abomination look like a character straight from Aquaman's world. Like one of Aquaman's villains and shit. I'm like, this ain't Abomination. What the fuck? Like, come on, man. But with the guy playing Abomination, he's a little comical. So yeah, um, yes, I didn't mind him playing as Abomination. But yeah, I am somewhat curious to see, okay, what they're gonna do, in the later episodes, especially when they bring characters such as Daredevil. And when they bring in Daredevil, that's yeah, everybody's gonna hate watch that then. So, the Abomination is like that in the old comics. Okay. Oh, damn. Yeah. I believe it. Yeah, man. Shit. And well, you say he's like that where he got the fins and shit? Like them fin ears and all that? Nah. I don't think he looked like that in the old comics, bro. Like, the Abomination I've seen in the Ed Norton's uh, Ed Norton's Incredible Hulk. That one, yeah, I'm like, now that's Abomination. Where you seeing like excess bones coming out of his shit. You know what I mean? Like, give me that, not these damn fans and shit. Well, what the hell? I'm like, Abomination. What the hell, man? But it was cool though to see that he has like control over his form and all that. But I mean, I'm like, damn. Like, hopefully you motherfuckers can at least bring this bastard in, like in the later episodes where he has to break his agreement and turn into Abomination and shit because to help fend off whatever foes is coming. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up. Shit, hell yeah, I'm gonna look that up and see, man. You know, what I mean, what? I forgot the classic Abomination. You know how he looked. So, uh, oh yes, we have a guest. Okay, what's up, brother? Yo, what's up, bro?
Yo, what up? I got audio.
Yeah, you got audio, bro. You can be heard.
Word, what up, bro? How you been?
Oh shit, man, I've been cool, bro. Man, I just had
Chilling,
to
man.
come out, bro, and cover this, man. I mean, you know,
No,
I
I was gonna
kind of
say,
hear
bro,
like,
great topic, dog, because ain't nobody covering it where we could talk about it, but people doing like reactions and shit. I think a lot of people missing that shit, bro. I seen all 3 episodes, so break it down.
yeah,
What's up?
yeah, man. I mean, I want to. So you're saying they're doing reactions, not necessarily like open up the
Yeah,
panel.
I see a lot. I seen a lot of reactions, but a lot of them motherfuckers, nobody really broke down like what. Like I just popped in your shit, bro, and I heard you talking about the Abomination shit, and you right, bro. Like that motherfucker's supposed to have his spine popping out and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like with the Ed Norton, because the Ed Norton shit was the Incredible Hulk. This dude looked like some kind of man fish. Fucking real
Right,
shit.
that nigga. Right.
Like
Tell me,
that's
bro.
what I'm saying. Because that's why they call him Abomination. That was supposed to be some unholy, unreal shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why like the spine pop out and you know what I'm saying? Like the bone's supposed to come out of the skin when that nigga turn. That's what I remember, dog. Like I remember that shit from the comic book. You know how the comic book get graphic with the storyboard and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I remember that shit, bro. But remember, dog, I don't even know how old you are, but I think we pretty close in age.
I'm in my mid-30s.
Okay, dog. I'm in my late 30s. So it's the same shit, bro. You
Yeah.
grew up in the comic book era too, dog. You was going to fucking stationaries reading comic books. And you know what I'm saying? You might read fucking 7, 8, 9, 10 comic books, but you might buy 2 of them motherfuckers. You know?
I was though, but as I can admit though, like I slipped off that path a little bit when I started to get into the gaming world and shit. When Sega Saturn,
Yeah.
and all that shit came out.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Well, yeah, when Sega Saturn, dog, like when Virtua Fighter dropped and shit like that. But
and Goku, when Dragon Ball came out and shit, I was on that. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I can remember, you know what I'm saying, trading comic book cards and all of that other shit. So we
remember
understand. It's just like I try to tell people, keep in mind, bro, Stan Lee died, what, 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago?
Rest in peace.
Same, bro. Like, everything's all woke and shit, bro. They even changed the format of like how they was do Captain Marvel. They did reshoots and all that shit. Soon as on that shit that they ended up having, they knew that.
I mean, just oh god. I'm just saying, like they could have done better, man. Like, I mean, I'm becoming like the hardcore She-Hulk fans do. You know what I mean? And how they are now with their express hatred towards the show. I resonate with them to a point where I'm like this. I'm like, okay, I'm expecting some damn fight scenes, like I'm saying, you know what I mean? Hey, where she's facing like and where she's also doing, you know, her little lawyer shit too. Okay, you know, hence, you know, the attorney at law. All right. But incorporated with more fight scenes and shit instead of this bullshit, bringing in this damn strag demon, Megan Thee Stallion, shaking off those damn gamma flakes and shit off her ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. That made no fuck. I mean, they trying to get their cameos every damn episode. That was stupid. And they got, I mean, the CGI on that shit horrible. I saw that shit on somebody's reaction. They broke that shit down. They was like, why Hulk look like, why Smart Hulk look like this, and he looked like this, like he just the end game CGI was on point. Like this CGI just looked horrible, and She-Hulk CGI just looked real horrible. And the Megan Thee Stallion shit is garbage, and the shit's just written fucked up. It's just written real fucked up. The one, you know what I'm saying? Like we know we like a good story, bro. This no character arc, bro. Somebody broke it down real good. They was like, bro, Tony Stark got kidnapped in a damn cave in Afghanistan and shit, damn near died. Captain America had to be frozen for like 70 years. You know what I'm saying? Like Black Widow had to go through a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got an art, you know what I'm saying? Got shit they got to go through before they could be a hero. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
this
y'all
chick
brought
ain't
this
making
chick
shit.
in. Y'all brought this chick in, damn it. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, she ain't went through hardly shit. You know what I mean? And and I had a problem with too, like of how she ended up getting this whole fucking this gamma shit, you know what I mean, from her cousin, man. Like that car accident. I'm like, dude, a damn 10-year-old could do a better job in making that scene, man. Like, dude,
I mean, yo,
that seems so cheesy as hell to me. Like,
it was written.
damn, I don't know if it's mine or yours, but you barking a little bit. What you say?
All right, give me a second.
Oh, you still barking now? Damn it! Oh shoot, we done lost, bro. Hey, come back. Hey, come back, Ed. Go back and come back in. But yeah, but I believe what you said was they written this horribly. They did, and it's garbage. It's garbage. Yeah, hey, so if you can, bro, come back, go back and come back in. Yeah, this shit's garbage. And man, like, damn, y'all could have did so much better with that writing, man. Like, come on now. Like, y'all could have did so. Yeah, so it's like, damn. Like, do better. Like, damn, don't make it to where a 13-year-old could do better on your shit. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you say you're coming up here, bro. Yeah, hey. Yeah, cause I want y'all to come, bro. Come through and give y'all thoughts, man, on the show, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You love it, you hate it, you know, why. Uh yeah, cause it's because it's starting to turn out to be in a damn abomination. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh bitch, you can twerk, but I'm like, damn bitch, but I'm like, where the fight scenes at and shit? Bitch, you shaking your ass, bitch, like you won something. You ain't won shit. This is like a show where you just strutting your damn power and shit as a damn feminist. That's what it feels like. No, I don't want to feel like that's what I believe. For that's what it is. Shit. I'm like, damn. Like, can we? Are y'all gonna do better in these next episodes? I'm believing that they may go in the route of Loki when it comes to the amount of episodes that they're going to produce. I think with Loki, it was what, less than 10 episodes, if I remember, that came out of Loki. So it may be a thing like where something like that, or the same amount of length of episodes as a uh, uh, Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel. So yes, so until Brother Anti gets his stuff right, come back up, or Brother J Lock, if you want to come up, cool. But till then, I'm find another video to look at. Yeah, because yeah, that was something, man. I can't stand these damn super weird crazy geeks like that are feminists and just can display not one little backbone to take a stand against the bitch. You see what this dude got to say. Matter of fact, hold on.
We made a USAA credit card for members like Margo. She doesn't want to use more than one card to earn the food she loves, with unlimited 1.5% cash back on purchase.
Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin.
Okay, salute,
okay,
bro.
so
Salute.
we are
Thanks for coming
back
up.
with our coverage of the X-Men, and it's Tuesday, which means it's our day for ongoing videos. The videos that we split into parts, this is the day that we do those when we're covering Marvel Comics. Monday is DC Comics. So here's the thing, right? We are continuing Judgment Day, and this story is amazing. Dude, check this out. Okay, so we actually get a countdown here. Now, one thing to know, everything that you're going to see in this comic takes place over the span of 1 hour. So what this does is this initially picks up on the planet of Arakko, right? The Great Ring. Now, one thing to remember, the Great Ring is Arakko's version of the Quiet Council from Krakoa. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with that, the Quiet Council on Krakoa is basically the governing body of pretty much all the Earthbound mutants that we're aware of. When you had like the whole Ten of Swords event and Jonathan Hickman's X-Men run, you ended up learning that there was like a whole other dimension that had all these mutants that were in it. Instead of them residing on Earth with the regular X-Men in Krakoa, they basically took off to Mars. That Arakko, the Great Ring, is their governing body. That one of the things to know is that the Great Ring is composed exclusively of Omega level mutants. There are no mutants on here that are not Omega level in power. That's why you have Iska the Unbeaten. That's why you have Cable, Magneto, different people like that. And then you actually have mutants that are from Arakko. So Aura Serrata, Ludos Logos, people like that, who's actually going to be really important as we get further into the story. But one of the things that happens here is Abigail Brand shows up literally with 1 minute left and basically tells them like, okay, there's a war breaking out between the Eternals, the Avengers, and the X-Men. Just so you guys know, we need to have some kind of involvement in this, right? We need to send our forces to Earth in order to ally with the Krakoan mutants to basically defeat the Eternals, because the Eternals are so astronomically powerful, and then defend off against the X-Men. Now, one of the things to know is that Abigail Brand's presence here is not really welcome. Technically speaking, she is the director of SWORD, the Sentient World Observation and Response Department, but much like Nick Fury when it comes to S.H.I.E.L.D., she's kind of shady. And the thing about this is that she actually wanted to install spies in Arakko that would basically feed her information, which basically became public knowledge. But the thing about this is that as she's basically communicating this message, and as she's saying that, one of the things that happens is you basically get this prophecy, right? Now, what had happened here somewhere along the line is you had what was called Idle the Seer, right? She's basically Arakko's version of Destiny from the X-Men comics on Krakoa. She can see the future, and she's an Omega level mutant. The difference here is that she at some point lost her tongue, and so she can't actually speak what it is that she sees. They kind of rely on her silence, right? The kind of silent messages she conveys in order to interpret things. And so what had happened is she had basically revealed a prophecy, right? She says, an empty heart beats hardest, an empty hand deals the impossible blow, and the stalemate ends with victory's loss. That prophecy is probably going to become incredibly important later on down the line. It will become important for this segment here, but that may end up playing like a major role over the course of the story. But again, these guys don't know that they're on a timetable, right? 1 minute, 49 seconds, 48 seconds, 30 seconds, right? The clock is counting down. And it's one of those things where they're just kind of having this conversation like, okay, well, I mean, who in the world are we going to send? You know, and it's just, for them, it's just kind of general business.
Yeah, I don't think, that was the one.
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and welcome back to the Rumor Roundup. And I have my cup of coffee with me. Thank God, because I'm recording this pretty early. I don't know what.
Rob. Fair use. Shout out to Rob. But I don't like to get in the one where they're talking about just a little bit, where he's talking about She-Hulk. Because, yeah. Now that shit was just something else. I'm like, wow. Like, you bastards chose this shitty ass She-Hulk over the classic She-Hulk, where it goes in depth, okay, of how she got her damn powers because, Bruce had to give her a blood transfusion. That was, to me, that was more iconic and epic than this bullshit. That whole shit of how she ended up getting this little gamma blood and shit because her cousin ended up bleeding on her and shit. That's hell, a fucking 6-year-old could have came up with that bullshit. Come on, man. We could do better, people. Come on, man. Like, what the fuck is this shit? I got so shitty, man, with fucking Hollywood for a great minute, boy. Hey, I started binge watching a lot of my fucking anime shows, seriously. I mean, and it's funny because we see in anime, at times, where okay, they got, the little transgender looking characters and shit, but they don't allow that to override the whole project, the whole greatness of the damn show. You see the motherfuckers in the show, and it's like, okay, you can laugh at the motherfucker, You're like, oh, this goofy ass motherfucker, like, okay. But damn, they ain't making a point to push these damn fucked up ass agendas and bringing in characters like Megan Thee Stallion, whose nature and everything does have nothing to fucking do with the MCU whatsoever. All right. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, did she just get caught up with a fucking lying on Tory Lanez and shit? Come on, man. And this bitch gets to get put in a damn in a show like this. Come on. I know you guys was shitty. I know you super hardcore She-Hulk fans was shitty. And I don't blame you, not one damn bit. Not one damn bit. But yeah. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of where he was talking about She-Hulk. Let's see. Because I'm like, oh hell no. I'm like, y'all chose this damn scene. And this bitch like, I will die for you, Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, no, I would kill for you. It's really, and given this bitch history, and you gonna come with some shit like that. Like, what the hell is wrong with this bitch? Like, clearly she's a damn feminist. And they show they bolster her shit up because damn it, when it comes to the Incredible Hulk, his ass is soft and beta as shit. I'm like, damn, bro, your balls in this bitch purse. How come, damn it, you ain't checking this woman who's supposed to be your cousin? All right. Who there? Oh, yeah, my boy. Hey, J Lock, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
So
hit it with it,
man.
bro. What you got?
I only watched one episode and that's it, man. I 2 or 3 episodes. They said a lot of people said 3 episodes. That's all it took. 3 episodes. That's it. Motherfuckers can't take it no more, man. Oh, I saw one episode. That one episode talking about I'm a woman. Women go through a lot. I get catcalled. Yeah. It's hard to be a woman. Next thing you know, you fucking twerking. The third episode talking about I'm being objectified and getting catcalled and called woman empowerment. Get your stupid ass out of here, bitch. You just contradicted yourself the whole fucking that womanly empowerment shit. That's so fucking stupid.
I don't know if you've seen in the videos that I played, right? I don't know if you listened to the video that I played where Tatiana was having that one-on-one with this one chick. I already fucking forgot her damn name. Show how much I care about that shit. But bro, like, she expressed of how joyful she was to play such a role, of a woman that can exude those feminist traits.
And people on the internet fucking that's foolish, man. People say Iron Man did die for this. What, twerking, you fucking fool? They having fun. They're like, that's what the fuck. You're a superhero, bitch. You are a superhero / goddamn fucking attorney, lawyer. You need motherfuckers are getting killed out there. Motherfuckers are getting blackmailed. People, gangsters, mobsters, are looking for people to kill or frame and shit like that. What the fuck is you doing? Twerking with
Yeah,
Megan Thee
right. You
Stallion
got
and shit
important
like that.
ass. So yeah, so as you're
What the
saying
fuck
that
is
she
you
got
doing?
yeah, so you're saying that damn it, there's important ass jobs out there that your ass could have been on them, bitch. You're fucking around.
Right.
you're
I'm
you're
like,
on
you over here
bullshit.
twerking. Well, man, this shit. Stan Lee roll over his grave right now, man. Stan Lee is roll over his fucking grave right now as we speak. How much you want to bet they killed the higher ups, the people that behind the corners killed Stan Lee, murdered Stan Lee. For
Oh,
this, Stan Lee probably probably if Stan Lee was alive, because Stan Lee was a healthy ass dude. If Stan Lee was alive, he probably would have looked at this shit like, I ain't signing on for this shit. What the fuck is y'all doing to my character?
oh
This
damn.
character's not meant for that. When he was alive, you didn't see none of that shit. That feminist, guidance, feminist empowerment, hoism, none of that shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
So Stan Lee, while he logged alive, now all of a sudden he passed away. They having a ball with this, man. They fucking up every goddamn thing. Stan Lee was a. That's why his kids. I think his kids. If his kids was alive, I think he got some grandkids, kids when I'm taking over his stuff. But if he was alive, right, his kids are saying like, hell no, I bet you his kids. I want to know what his kids saying about this.
I know there's.
I want to see.
I
want to see this.
I'm about to play this. This little thing about She-Hulk.
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and while I don't know how well this video will do, with the series coming out, I figured it was prudent to make a video explaining the character of She-Hulk. So, She-Hulk, also known as Jennifer Walters, first appeared in Savage She-Hulk #1 in 1979 and was created by Stan Lee and John Buscema. Now, here's the thing about this. One of the things that we discussed in past videos when we were doing character explanations is that more often than not, when Marvel was going to introduce a new character to the comics, they usually did it in an existing comic book series or in some kind of an anthology series. A really good example is that Moon Knight was introduced in the old Werewolf by Night comics because they didn't know if Moon Knight was going to be a sellable character, so they actually initially introduced him as a one-off, but he proved to be popular, so they gave him his own solo series, at least what passes for a solo series, and so they actually got a self-titled series. You usually saw that when it came to things like Marvel Presents, Marvel Premiere, Marvel 2-in-1, so on and so forth, ensemble and or team-up books that served the purpose of allowing Marvel to get the most bang for their buck as well as the reader. So Marvel could make a story that would have 5 stories in it. And so even if one of those stories sucked, they still had 4 other characters they could likely make that were marketable and that people could basically buy. With them giving She-Hulk her own solo series right off the bat, this was kind of an act of desperation by Marvel as a result of the circumstances. And what I mean by that is whether you've looked it up on your own or something that you've heard, you're most likely correct if you draw the conclusion that the creation of She-Hulk was based on the success of the Incredible Hulk TV series with Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby. The reason why this matters is because at that point in time, the Incredible Hulk TV show, as it was launched, was basically licensed, and really the film and TV rights were owned by MCA Universal. Nowadays, it's owned by NBC Universal. The important thing here is that because of the way the licensing rights were worked out, if MCA Universal had created a She-Hulk before Marvel Comics did, they would have wholly owned the rights to it. Whereas if Marvel Comics had created She-Hulk before MCA Universal did, Marvel Comics would have owned the rights to it, and then MCA Universal would have had to license the character from Marvel Comics if they wanted to put She-Hulk in the TV show. And so as a result of that, Marvel really believed that it was inevitable that Universal was going to do that. They thought it was only a matter of time, which is something that happens when it comes to licensing rights, right? It's just kind of almost sort of racing yourself to the punch to a degree. But the result of this is that Marvel just launched She-Hulk in Savage She-Hulk issue #1. This allowed them to lock down the character in its entirety, where there would be no legal loopholes in the sense that, well, you know, She-Hulk technically appeared in this other comic over there, but it's not really a She-Hulk comic because it wasn't really her own comic. This definitively locked it down. So that's why, or at least seems to be the reason, Marvel gave her her own solo series right off the bat. Now, the funny thing about this is Stan Lee wrote the first issue and then essentially walked away. Now, a lot of this was because Stan Lee was working on the back end with like the film and TV side and so on and so forth. But this is the reason why the first issue of Savage She-Hulk feels very much like a classic Marvel comic story in the sense that what you had was a guy named Nicholas Trask, who was a crime boss living in California, that Jennifer Walters had crossed paths with in a couple different ways. The first was because Nicholas Trask had actually had her mom killed or killed her mom at a previous point in time. And two, Jennifer Walters, working as a lawyer, was actually building a case against Trask using the help of another gangster that Trask had double-crossed. And as a result of this led to Trask sending his guys after Jennifer Walters in order to basically kill her. Now, because Bruce Banner was the only person there, and as a cousin, he had a matching blood type and could give her a blood transfusion, that's exactly what happened. What ended up resulting from this is that Jennifer Walters ended up absorbing part of the gamma radiation within Bruce Banner himself, or at least that was transferred to her through the transfusion, and so Jennifer Walters ended up becoming She-Hulk. Now, one of the things to know is that where Stan Lee did only write the first issue, and the remaining 24, since it ran up to issue number 25, the remaining 24 were written by David Kraft. The determination of whether or not this run was a good run, as always, is usually left to the reader. There are some people who believe that David Kraft's run felt more like just a series of Incredible Hulk stories that just happened to have She-Hulk in there instead of Bruce Banner. There are other people who saw it as the opposite, that it's the most significant run of She-Hulk because it laid the foundation and groundwork for so many of the things that we know now. But regardless of what stance you take, there are things that were done in the David Kraft run that were stupendously important. The first of these is that the way that David Kraft had, well, crafted his run, no pun intended, but the way that he had built his run was really first and foremost focusing on the dichotomy between Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk. And a lot of this was designed to reel in female readers at the time and actually build on the notion and the nature of really just second wave feminism as it existed. For a lot of women out there who were working in these roles like she did as a lawyer, which was largely a boys' club, but also having this sort of untapped inner strength. For Jennifer Walters, that untapped inner strength manifested in the form of the She-Hulk persona. The reason why I use the term persona here is that in the initial stories by David Kraft, there wasn't really an ability by Jennifer Walters to control herself when she was the She-Hulk. She was, by all standards of measurement, exactly like Bruce Banner. The She-Hulk persona would manifest, usually in response to some kind of heightened emotional duress, anger more often than not, and then she would sort of lose herself. But over the course of the comics, that began to shift. And in fact, the ability of Jennifer Walters to maintain her persona, even when she was in the She-Hulk form, is one of those elements that actually carried on into the future of her stories. The second part of this is Jennifer Walters trying to find some measure of balance between her life and becoming a superhero, as well as having just some measure of normalcy, right? Just the normal Jennifer Walters being a lawyer. This was very similar to the way that Peter Parker was handled in the Spider-Man comics, albeit with a little more leeway. The idea of She-Hulk leaning into her sexuality didn't really become a major focal point for her character until you got to John Byrne's run. But up until that point, it was her just like trying to find romantic relationships, trying to date, that sort of thing, trying to find a life for herself. But in a lot of ways, David Kraft's run still fell into the traditional superhero story.
So she was a
thought. Didn't quite hit that Chris Claremont level of writing, where it was more on the kind of interpersonal relationships, soap opera.
So she was a thought,
as opposed to like the Stan Lee standard.
Yeah,
the thing about this
thought,
is following this run, because it only ran for about 2 years, this went into 1982, and there was only really one time when She-Hulk crossed over in another story, and it was a Marvel team-up comic. Beyond that, it was issues just like 2 through 25 written by David Kraft. The stories involving Nicholas Trask and all that, those were all sorted out, those were all rounded out pretty well. It was pretty basic. But the reason why this matters is because during this point in time when David Kraft was writing She-Hulk following her introduction, Jim Shooter was editor-in-chief. Now, for those of you guys who are familiar with my channel or you're familiar with the history of Marvel Comics, you know that like the big thing that Jim Shooter had during his time as editor-in-chief in Marvel were the Secret Wars stories. And so the whole idea behind this was that one, at least as far as most of our discussions have been had when it came to Secret Wars, is that it was a story that Marvel wrote in order to secure a brand deal with Mattel so they could sell toys. And that's true. But the other side of the equation was that because of the high profile nature of the story and the fact that you had such hugely popular characters, in that you had like Galactus and you had Ultron, you had Doctor Doom, you had all these different characters that were out there, that what it also gave them the ability to do was bring in characters who otherwise would just never be noticed by readers in order to try to raise their profile a little bit. But Secret Wars, at least for She-Hulk, was also one of those giant transitionary stories. And so that's the reason why in the 2 years that followed between 1982 when Savage She-Hulk was ended and 1984 when Secret Wars was launched, you actually saw Marvel shopping her around. And so by the time you got to Savage She-Hulk issue number 25, She-Hulk herself had just kind of become comfortable in the idea of being in that form. And so that was Marvel's way of essentially locking her down and saying, okay, this is is kind of her permanent form. And it's more the inverse of what you're used to in the sense that it's Jennifer Walters occasionally becoming She-Hulk, and now it's She-Hulk occasionally becoming Jennifer Walters. It was a cool concept that actually happened for a little while. But in Avengers issue number 221, she officially joined the team. She stayed there for a little while, for a couple of years, and she bounced around between a few stories, a few Fantastic Four comics here and there, albeit not officially joining the team. Instead,
she also
at
got
the end
passed
of
around
Secret
too.
Wars, that at the end of that story, the desire of Marvel was to sort of reshuffle the team a little bit, if only as an experiment. And so at the end of Secret Wars, Ben Grimm, who had basically been depowered, remained on Battleworld for the purpose of just kind of trying to figure himself out. This opened a
I'm Jennifer Walters. I'm a lawyer who happens to be a Hulk.
The transformations are triggered by anger and fear.
opened a spot for someone to replace him on the Fantastic Four, and that person was chosen to be She-Hulk. Now, the funny thing about this is that at that point in time, the Fantastic Four was being handled by John Byrne. And what this meant was that John Byrne could quite literally just craft her character seemingly any way he wanted to, which would actually prove to be instrumental because the work that he did on She-Hulk during her time in the Fantastic Four would actually become incredibly important regarding the work that was done with her character in the sensational She-Hulk run, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But the thing about this is that as opposed to the David Kraft run, and even during her time in Secret Wars, her time on the Fantastic Four was monumental because what it did is it expanded on her character in ways that we just hadn't necessarily considered before, but it also was essentially a paradigm shift. One of the ways in which this was done was the way that she was depicted. Instead of the David Kraft days where she was being drawn as really more of kind of like a Hulk type figure where she looked more muscular and so on, during the Avengers run, for example, she was drawn to look more slender. She looked more physically attractive, the way that you would expect a beautiful woman to look. Another example of this was that during the Avengers run, for example, she became a great friend to Hawkeye in the sense that the two of them had a phenomenal friendship and arguably a little bit more depending on how it is that you choose to look at it. But it was one of these things where her personality as a person was really starting to shine through because in the comics it was being depicted that she was simply just becoming more comfortable in her own skin. Another aspect of this is that it's one thing to present a character that is attractive and puts off all the airs, right? And has all the trappings of a person who is strong and confident and so on. It's another one to be able to tell compelling stories or for them to be able to live up to the part. And so during the time when She-Hulk was on the Fantastic Four from issues 265 to 300, that John Byrne actually crafted a series of stories.
Yeah, she been a hoe, man. I think she been a hoe. She been a hoe like at secret, I think, man. That's the thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to get back to share screen.
And fighting alongside her, we're able to basically free the microverse.
So yeah, so we can see it. But shout out to Rob from Comics Explained.
But there were a lot of stories like that with She-Hulk in the Fantastic Four comics.
Subscribe to his channel. You know, he produced some good info here. Brothers too as well.
Or about building up what She-Hulk was actually capable of doing using the Fantastic Four because it was the best place to do it. But regardless of one argument or the other, the fact is that She-Hulk's role in Marvel became solidified during the sensational She-Hulk run by John Byrne. Now, when I say John Byrne's run, one of the things to know is that his run was actually fairly limited in the sense that he wrote issues 1 through 8. He came back for issues 31 through 46, skipped 47, then wrote 48 through 50, and that was basically it. One of the things to understand, and this is really why his run is so significant, is because it deviated away from the nature of She-Hulk as she was originally presented. It fell more rank and file with the version of She-Hulk he had written in Fantastic Four, and then honestly just became fun. And that was the thing about it, because up to that point in time, and this is the reason why he ended up, basically why he departed the series, is because you had 2 She-Hulk novels or graphic novels that came out. The first one was Marvel graphic novel, The Sensational She-Hulk #1, and that basically set up the John Byrne solo series. But you also had one called Sensational She-Hulk Ceremony issues 1 and 2, and that's the one that basically led to everything popping off. That the first graphic novel, Sensational She-Hulk #1, that was John Byrne setting everything up. So for example, She-Hulk was just stuck in her form. form. She wasn't really able to go back to Jennifer Walters. There were some changes that were made later on to where it was more of a choice than the fact that she was forced. She started introducing herself as Jennifer Walters instead of introducing herself as She-Hulk, but basically leading into the nature of herself as She-Hulk as a whole, right? Just fully becoming that character. The ceremony storyline was a storyline that actually dealt with her and Wyatt Wingfoot, their relationship that had kind of been on again, off again. The two of them were supposed to get married, but this idea that ultimately it didn't work out. And that She-Hulk, instead of being this woman that kind of leaned into her own independence and saying, look, like, I don't need a guy to feel whole in this world, the ceremony storyline actually dealt with this idea that she felt incomplete because, like, she couldn't have a family, different things like that. It wasn't so on the nose as saying, like, here's a story where She-Hulk is an incomplete woman because she's not living a Stepford life, but it is one of those stories where it seemed to just totally be removed and have a complete and total misunderstanding of what She-Hulk was supposed to be about in the eyes of John Byrne. And so where that ceremony story was sent to Byrne to basically edit it, or at least to get some feel for it, to send back some notes to ensure the graphic novel would fall in line with his sensational She-Hulk run, the opposite happened. And in fact, the editor was ignoring the notes that he'd left, and whenever he sent his scripts in for the sensational She-Hulk run, his scripts were actually changed to match the graphic novel. And so he ultimately ended up leaving, where there was some disagreement there, and arguably, at least in his own forum post, he was forced off the title. He was basically fired, but that's why he ended up walking away. Again, he ended up coming back. The reality is that the stories that you saw with She-Hulk that didn't really feature John Byrne just didn't quite have that John Byrne touch. But the funny thing about this is that the sensational She-Hulk run, it's less about like these massive expansions on her character, and it's less about her just being thrown into like these impossible situations. Instead, it was just good old-fashioned fun. It was John Byrne having her break the fourth wall all the time, but it was one of those things where the stories were just fun. It was a blast. It was one of those where you saw like these just Z-list villains, beyond Z-list villains, being pulled out of
John
nowhere.
Burns
So just like face off against She-Hulk. You saw her face off against Titania, different things like that, but it was a story that was not meant to be taken seriously. It was designed to be more entertaining, which is why you would see her say things like, hey guys, if you don't buy this comic, they're going to cancel us, right? It was just that kind of stuff. And fans loved it. I would go as far as to say that in terms of just pure enjoyment and kind of leaving out the overarching character development based on things that will be a permanent part of her character in the future going forward, that John Byrne's run on She-Hulk is probably the most celebrated run on her character. But the fact is that she achieved a level of popularity during the sensational She-Hulk run that just simply hasn't been matched. And what's so crazy about that is once that run was ended and she was taken off of that, She-Hulk's popularity never recovered. Well, I take that back. I think that's a bit of an overstatement. I wouldn't say her popularity never recovered. I would say her ability to hold a solo series never quite recovered. And so that's why following that story and for a number of years, She-Hulk's appearances in Marvel Comics are just a veritable smorgasbord of, well, she was just all over the damn place. I mean, she was everywhere, right? Just in all these different kinds of comics. And in reality, as chaotic as that sounds, it's actually the one thing that saved her, to be quite honest, right? So she had a bit of a time when she was in, or at least when she was on the Fantastic Force team, which was basically Franklin Richards' own superhero team. She was on that team for issues 12 through 18, running up to 1996. She was in the Doc Samson miniseries. She was back in Incredible Hulk with issues number 441, going through 442. From 1997 to 1998, she was on Heroes for Hire. She was part of the Onslaught saga for a time. The Heroes for Hire Siege of Wundagore 5-part miniseries, she was a part of that. I mean, she was all over the place, right? She was just everywhere. And a lot of this was synonymous with the fact that Marvel just didn't know what to do with her. And as we've always talked about before in previous videos, it was the mid-1990s comic book bust. So while She-Hulk was a recognizable name, she wasn't really a sellable name. And this was partially due to one of these things where Marvel couldn't tell the difference between the two. Was She-Hulk a character that just wasn't marketable because John Byrne was just the one guy who could write compelling stories about her? Or was She-Hulk not marketable because the stories they were putting her in were just really crappy stories? Not only that, even Marvel themselves were just throwing everything at the wall. They were literally doing everything they could to try to make, or at least try to sell something over fear of going bankrupt. But this seemingly hugely disorganized mess that was just She-Hulk in Marvel Comics basically came to a head in 2002 with Avengers issue number 57. Now, this was Avengers as it was written by Jeff Johns. And a lot of you guys probably don't know that Jeff Johns wrote for Marvel Comics before he wrote for DC. The funny thing about it is that World Trust, I mean, it's okay. World leaders disappear into a black hole. It's not really all that interesting. Red Zone was really, really good. That was one of the most interesting stories ever in an Avengers comic that explicitly dealt with the Red Skull. And then following that, you dealt with a story called The Search for She-Hulk. These were stupendously important stories for a variety of reasons. One of the most notable is because it basically set the stage for Jennifer Walters to be able to revert back into her human form. And in fact, it was one of these scenarios where you had a guy by the name of Jack of Hearts whose powers directly conflicted with She-Hulk and actually sent her into a rage. Once she eventually went back into her human form, then it basically opened the door for Marvel to allow her to start switching back if they chose to. So this is one of those stories that Jeff Johns had written for the purpose of allowing She-Hulk kind of return back to the status quo for Marvel to kind of find a way to do a little more with her character. Now, of course, Jeff Johns left the Avengers title not too long after, and while She-Hulk did get another solo series that only ran for about 12 issues or so, towards the end of that run, we ended up going into like Avengers Disassemble, which of course is one of the more iconic moments in the She-Hulk mythos when she's manipulated by the Scarlet Witch. She's sent into like just this almost out of control World War Hulk-esque persona where she just goes nuts, trashes Avengers Mansion.
Damn, she was manipulated.
And so during this time with Dan Slott basically writing her solo series in
She was manipulated by
this
some
ran for issues 1, or at least he wrote issues 1 through 21. And then in turn, you had Peter David who took over with issues 22 through 38. Now, the funny thing about this is that these stories could not have been more different. Despite the fact that it was two people writing the same comic, or really just at two different points in time, they were starkly different. So Dan Slott focused more on what was in effect the aftermath of like Civil War and all that kind of stuff. This whole idea of there being like superhuman law, her being a lawyer for superhumans. And then in turn, at the end of his run, or at least during the Peter David run, she was effectively disbarred for attacking somebody in public, even though they had basically, lawyer-client confidentiality or whatever it was, but she basically violated her oath as a lawyer. This led to her becoming a bounty hunter during the Peter David run. Now, again, it wasn't really a bad thing, and in fact, both runs have their merit. Neither one of them are really, really terrible. A lot of people say that the run of She-Hulk by Dan Slott is usually more enjoyable just because it's a little more lighthearted. But again, this is one of those instances when Marvel was just trying to find a way to make her work, because following the end of Peter David's run and what little crossover she had in his X-Factor comic, the reality is that you saw her just appearing in a series of whole comic books. And like that was it, right? I mean, you had some spinoffs that came out of that, but there wasn't a whole lot doing. Now, Charles Soule came out in 2014 to basically write a 12-issue series for She-Hulk. But honestly, that one again is also very divisive. I personally never really enjoyed it. And then of course you got her in the post-Civil War II landscape focusing on her individual series. And at the moment, she's currently a member of the Avengers. But the reality here is that while a lot of the stories that focused on She-Hulk in the 1990s and the early 2000s, her like the Hulk, right? Just a female version of the Hulk going forward and being a traditional superhero. From really, I would argue, Dan Slott's run going forward, more emphasis was put on her as a lawyer. And in fact, finding that middle ground between the two, sort of borrowing from John Byrne's time when she was on to, or at least when he was writing the sensational She-Hulk story, when you basically had her kind of taking breaks and being on again, off again with like the Avengers team. That it was one of those things where like she had her own life, her own stories, basically dealing with law or legal profession or being a lawyer or what have you. But while some of these were interesting and they were really intriguing, the reality here is that since the days of John Byrne's run on sensational She-Hulk, she just hasn't quite achieved that level of popularity. And even now on Jason Aaron's Avengers run, the only real story she's had was World War She-Hulk, which focused on her, and it was a terrible story. So it seems like a lot of the writing that's being done with She-Hulk at the moment seems less to do with writers genuinely understanding her character and crafting her character in a way that's highly relatable and really builds on the work that was done from days gone by, and kind of feels more like a cash grab based on the fact that like the She-Hulk show's coming into existence, which kind of sucks, because if you write a bunch of half-assed stories about a character because they're getting a show, then people are going to go read those comics, they're going to realize they're a half-assed character and they're never going to buy those comics again. So I get it's trying to find a balance between the greatest reward for the least amount of work possible, but the reality here is that She-Hulk is a character that does have a lot of potential. She is really, really interesting and can be done in a very interesting interesting way. The truth about it, though, is that Marvel just hasn't really done that with her character for almost 20 years. That following the events of Sensational She-Hulk by John Byrne, she's just kind of bounced around. She's been on different teams. She's had a few moments here and there, like a really good instance is when she was arrested by the Time Variance Authority, and she had some cool little moments there, but she never really had an overarching, awesome, lengthy, significant run. It was just this happened and that happened, and like these small little things here and there, but nothing huge and of major significance that really just changed the dynamic of her character. So with that being said, guys, we're
That's it.
Yep, that's it. Oh man. Yeah. I would very much rather have John Burns run. I mean, yeah, hey, even though she was all over the place, that would still produce like a more awesome, better show than this shit here. That's what that would produce.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So you guys, I mean, yeah, leave me your thoughts, in the chat, what you think, because out of all those shits they've shown with the She-Hulk, I'm like, y'all produced this bullshit here. Come on.
They want that woman empowerment shit, man.
And it showed too, damn it, where she's all over the place. When she was a thought and all that shit, and that one cover too, I don't even remember seeing where that one issue where she is an old ass issue where it showed like the title was like, "Oh, I married a man wolf" or some shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn it. I'm like, okay, just throwing that gamma pussy everywhere, huh? Oh my god, she just throw that shit, boy. Oh man. Hell no. Oh shit. She-Hulk / Sex in the City. Oh shit, that's what I
Yeah.
see. Motherfucker's gonna be on some Sex in the City shit, man. Oh man. Dude.
The thing is, man, she was supposed to be Stan Lee inspiration, like idea, whatever. And he left it alone. But the thing is, she was hoeing, but she did it out of not a selfishness, but she did it who she was attracted to, not like, oh, you're a male feminist. I'm gonna give you some pussy. I'm gonna give it up to your
Right.
ass. What the fuck type of shit is that? She wasn't like that. She slept. Shit, she slept with motherfucking Juggernaut. Shit.
Right.
He a fucking massage. He's a reckless. He'll got no filter. Juggernaut doesn't have no filter. He doesn't have no barrier. And he's a big misogynistic type of guy. But he slept with it. She like fuckboy dude. She like players, man.
Yeah, and of
She
course
slept with
Tatiana
Juggernaut.
was gonna be cool with playing. Of course, Tatiana was gonna be cool playing She-Hulk because damn it, this is an opportunity for her to express the all those damn feminist traits and shit, dude. Like,
Yeah.
just
Almost right.
giving praise to the ways of being a feminist. You know what I mean?
Man, I don't know, man. They gonna fuck this show up for me, man. She never said that. Oh, I'm a female. She never said that in any of her comic books. She never said that shit. And then, plus, if you ask for some pussy, she probably give it to you. That's what it seems like she was. If you ask for the pussy, she give it to your ass. That's basically what she like.
Or you be nice to her and shit, you know
You
what I
be
mean?
not,
Especially
yeah,
too in the little clip
yeah,
trailers where they
right.
show where she picked up the dude and just taking him to her bedroom and shit. Yeah.
Yo, cucumber. That's crazy as hell, man. She was not.
So the dude
You a
was gonna
joke.
have to be
She a
bitch
goofy
made like a
joke.
motherfucker. He's gonna have to he's gonna have to be soft like a motherfucker. He's gonna be like, hey honey, okay. He's gonna be timid to the son of a bitch. Oh shit.
That's basically I was Deacon was here. Deacon was he tried to cucumber the guy. He tried to cucumber
Right.
the guy. Boo. That's basically what it is. This one, you let no motherfucking woman pick your ass up like that. Hell no. I'm gonna have to let you go back to your human forms, ma'am. You ain't gonna pick me up like that.
Yeah, right.
Shit.
Like this bitch. That's the one bitch that can come forth and demand to do whatever she want to you sexually. Like damn it, like you better let me put this dildo up your ass. She
See
gonna
what
be
I
like, you
mean?
better let me put this dildo up your ass. Motherfucker gonna be like,
Motherfucker gonna run out
like
butt naked
he
with
gonna
his
be screaming
underwear
like a
outside
bitch.
and shit, running and screaming and shit like that. Oh, you
Yeah,
guess
run like butt naked and shit. Knowing that he gonna only run so far and shit before that bitch do a Hulk leap, and be like, boom, where you going?
right, right. You know that episode of what's it called? What was the first episode when them guys was coming after her? Hey, honey, we just want to talk to you. Hey, where you going? I was like, them niggas. I said, why they always do this shit? It was good back then, but now it's just stale now. Guys
I'd
would
rather have
not
Savage
holler,
She Hulk. I'd rather have Savage
not,
She Hulk.
but guys would not do for shit like that. Like holler at a chick out of the bar and follow her. Nobody does that.
Yeah, right.
No guy does that shit.
Yeah, like I hate when they keep putting that shit in the fucking movies and these
I'm like,
shows and shit.
okay,
Like,
we sent it back in the early 2000s, and 90s, 80s, and 70s. It worked, okay, but now it's just like in this era, it's like okay, it's getting old now. No
yeah,
guys,
y'all
no
showing
actual guys would do that shit. Hey, honey, where you going? Why you look so big? We just want to talk to you.
no, good and damn
No
well,
guys
man
gonna
is
do
damn
that
near
shit.
running from these broads. No, good and damn well, man is running from these damn bitches and shit. As soon as a bitch say no, that motherfucker gonna keep on walking. Shit, crazy ass shit. You know, I can't
Other than
stand when they
that,
put that
guy,
shit in here,
women would do the opposite if we ignore their ass. We ignore the fuck out their ass, man. We do the fucking
man.
ignore the fuck out their ass. And they go fucking berserk. Why you ain't saying nothing to me? Why you ain't flirting with me? Why you ain't catcalling me? Cause bitch, we gonna say no. I look like this. You sound ugly as fuck. You ain't gonna give me the time of day. So what the fuck I'm gonna talk to your ass for? Sit your ass down. Sit your ass on
Oh
somewhere. Go,
shit.
go call a taxi cab or something like that. Go home with your cat. Go home and be with your cat. He alone. He know he want to fuck see your ass. God damn it. Go drink. Go ahead and drink your wine, your Chardonnay or rose, whatever the fuck you got home waiting for you, and lie in your cold ass
Bro,
bed.
man.
Go in your cold ass bed. Go ahead.
Oh shit, man. Oh yeah. As I
You
forgot
so
the title.
mean.
As I forgot the title of y'all. Yes, this is the Homoforce Geek Table. And yes, and we thank you guys for joining. And yes, and shout out to Rob from Comics Explained. Go over there, subscribe to his channel. You know, he breaks down stuff very well, and not only just him, but
No,
also listen
Rob,
to
Rob, Rob,
Darian.
Rob owns a bullshit. He pander on his shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Oh yeah,
Rob be
yeah,
on
yeah.
some
He do.
bullshit.
How do you
I was
see
like,
it?
Rob,
We see it too.
you know damn well, your ass, shut the fuck up. Rob, I know about some things about Rob. Rob be on some bullshit. I don't know what's going on with
But
guys
I'm
being mad at
also
woman empowerment, being leaders, man. Thunderbolt Ross was supposed to be in that group, that Thunderbolt group, whatever. He made that group because it was basically almost like compared to Suicide Squad. What a fucking woman's gonna lead? It's like Amanda Waller. We already got Amanda Waller in a DC comic book. Now it's
I
a white
know,
bitch,
right?
excuse my language, it's gonna be word of the fucking thunderbolt. You out of your fucking mind. What the hell is
He's
wrong
like
with you, man? You
he's
need
like
to fucking
whatever.
drive.
Remember when he said he said he know guys are gonna come out and be like, oh, about feminist role, feminist lead, woman leading the role. I'm
Nigga,
like,
you
yes.
should be worried about that
He's
shit,
like,
man. What
yes,
the
I
fuck
don't
is wrong
care.
with you?
He's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm a motherfucker. Yes, you should care because the more masculine roles
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have,
yeah.
motherfuckers, you know what I mean, that helps project that damn masculine image, that masculine dominance. You know what I mean? The better for this damn country. Put it like that, son of a bitch. All right. The more we have that shit, those examples being projected out to the masses, to influence the masses of, hey, this is how it should be, that a man should not be also beholden and subservient to a bitch. And yeah, I mean, that's what's gonna help fix this shit. All right. It's for motherfuckers saying, no, we're not taking this bullshit no more. No, fuck you, bitch. No, you ain't dominant over me. No, not one bit. So yeah, and but I also listen to brothers that like the one guy, Variant Comics. Check him out, y'all. He breaks stuff down very good too as well. And also other brothers too as well, especially good brother Artisan MC. Check him out. Subscribe to his channel. It's Artisan MC. ARTISAN. ARTISAN. MC. Subscribe to him. This is a good brother too. He also owns his own comic book store, so which is very awesome. And yes, check him out. And yes, this is the Homo Force Geek Table. We will be covering also more episodes of this She-Hulk series. In which case, I would like to ask you, brother J Lock, before we get your last statements. What do you think on the length of these episodes? Do you think they're going to be the same length as Loki and WandaVision? Like right at 10 episodes or under 10?
It's probably gonna be under 10 episodes. I don't know, man. I started watching She-Hulk that one episode, man. I was like, it's trash. I ain't gonna lie to you, dude. I'd rather watch The Boys. I'd rather watch The Boys season 5 or 6 come out. God damn it, because I can't take this shit no more. We need new episodes. We need new episodes right now. I'm thinking. I went back to watch anime, Crunchyroll. Watch some anime. Look,
that's what I was just telling the good people earlier. That's what I was just telling the good people earlier, man. That a lot of this
ain't no good shows out right now. Anime is out right now. Fuck this.
Yeah, they push me over to anime, dude. Yes, I mean I've been catching up with my shows. Yes, I've been thinking about covering as well.
I've been watching Smallville. Smallville right now is my go-to show right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm on season 6 right now.
And also too, you J Lock and others, you guys also bring up some good ideas. Shows that you like to see me cover. Shows that I may not have seen yet or thought of yet. Just whatever. Just bring it to the Homo Force Geek Table. What I mean. And then your guy Ray would check it out. And as I will be most likely covering One Piece. I'm gonna do a little bit digging on that because I'm all caught up in that. Ray, you watched that from episode? Yes, motherfucker. Yes. It's team Luffy over here. All right. It's team Luffy and Zoro over here. So yes, I watched it from episode 1 all the way up to 1,000 or something where it's at right now. And yes, I'm shitty with them throwing in this little prequel filler, as I call it, where they went back in the past, Luffy's past, showing this friendship that he built up with this with Guy Shank's daughter. And yeah, so I was going to cover that, especially the Kaido fight. The Kaido fight was fucking epic. Yes. I mean, dude, like prime example of what I was saying, bro. Like, can you attest to that too, bro? That we can accept these little specks of feminism. I don't really say feminism shit, but also like the LGBT shit. We can tolerate a little bit of that. Them Transformers. These damn shows. These cross dressing motherfuckers and shit. Yeah, we can tolerate a little bit of that, but it's because they don't have that to override or pushing no agenda with it to try to have it to override the whole potential of the damn show. Because we constantly are watching it for that reason. So yeah. So what's your thoughts on that?
Hello?
Fuck it. We'll pick a time too. Damn, when it's close to getting dark, damn it, to cut the damn grass. Ain't that a bitch?
Be like that. It'd be like that.
But yeah, so you're done with the show. So you're one of them that's just saying you're done with the show. But even though I believe that you're full of shit too, as well as the rest of them, oh, I'm done with this show, blah blah blah. No, hear me and hear me now to all of you damn geeksters out there. You're going to fucking watch this show. You're going to watch the show. You're going to watch the fucking episodes that's coming out. You are because of that
Yeah,
power of
I'm
that
done.
curiosity.
I'm done. Listen,
The
listen. Laws,
curiosity of the
she get.
geek is there. It's going to cause you to want to see it, though you may end up
Listen,
hate watching it. But the fact is, you're going to watch it.
listen. As long as they, if Abomination or some other supervillain beat her ass, then I watch it. And stop talking all that bullshit. Then I watch it. I skip a couple of episodes and see. I watch skip a couple of episodes and see that once part of that scene, her get her ass toe up, the flow up,
What,
and
what
then
if
I'll be like, okay, I'm
Abomination?
done
What
watching
if
the
it
movie.
goes into showing where her and Abomination teams up / him
Oh, I want to see
training
that shit,
with
man.
him
Fuck
with,
that.
with him with him training her and
They,
and learning a deeper level. I don't know of
man, get the
meditation or
fuck
some shit. I don't
out of
fucking
here, man. Abomination supposed to be a villain. Hey, what the fuck a villain? Ain't no fucking teaming up with no fucking villain. The fuck,
know.
man? Hell no. I want to see that bitch get stumped the fuck out. She was fighting the Hulk so much. Okay, now fight Abomination.
Right.
You can do that to the Hulk, to the Smart Hulk, but Abomination is a whole different story. He ain't got military background. He got
But
military background. Abomination
but
got.
but we know in this they're gonna find some way to keep the feminists and the LGBT and them satisfied. And yeah, which is
My
oh
ass about
god,
to my ass about to my ass
disheartening.
about to watch a couple anime. I got a couple of anime list episodes. I ain't going for that shit.
You know.
I'm not wasting my
I
time
got so
watching
many.
shit.
I'm like, that's what I'm telling Hollywood, man. I mean, us fans, in this geek world, we got other shit that we like that we are hip to, you know, that we are geeks about, and that for me is one of them is anime. And motherfuckers, I don't have no qualms, damn it, with saying fuck you guys. All right, and your projects you coming out with because I have a shitload of other shows that I can watch and catch up with. All right, that are there's more badass action and storyline plotting and twist and all that shit. Areas and chambers where Hollywood you have failed in. And in this and with this show, you guys have failed with having this bitch shaking these gamma flakes off her ass.
Mm-mm.
Absurd. So yeah, so with you being done with it, I mean so you say like you unless it has Abomination kicking her ass, you ain't gonna watch it. I still believe in you.
No,
So
hell no.
oh brother. But
I
yes,
ain't going.
but yeah, as I mentioned too, there was the spoilers were leaked too about Daredevil, that he's gonna appear in a She-Hulk series.
Man, I hope he ain't trying to fuck her. His blind ass trying to fuck her. His blind ass.
Hey,
Both of
shit.
them.
Hey, it might end up being because, the way she talked about it in one interview, uh, she was seeming, excited
Motherfucking
about
has
the
some
idea of working with
motherfucker gamma radiation pussy juice come onto his eyes and shit. Probably might see again.
her. But yeah,
Motherfucker.
so also too, as
Goddamn.
I mentioned
Hell
too,
no, man. He gotta try to kill him. That's abuse, man. He try to fuck a blind man. That's fucking abuse,
Mhm.
man. Fuck out of here, man. That's fucking taking
All right.
advantage of him. Hell no.
But what's your last words, brother J Lock? We're gonna get out of here, but yes, but keep in mind too, I shall be covering the
I'll
Rings
say
of
it this.
Power.
I'll only see She-Hulk when she getting that ass whooped. That's the only time I'm saying that. I don't want to see that Rudy to the booty twerking ass green booty all over the fucking screen and shit like uh jiggling and shit like that. I don't got time to watch that shit, man. And then talk about give us a lecture, talk about all men ain't shit. But the thing is, you twerking on the screen, talking about empowerment. Joe stupid ass man. Nobody want to. This is a whole joke. Stan Lee would not if he was alive to this very day. I wish he was alive. He would not let this slide. He would not let this shit slide. I tell you. He would not let that shit slide. But that's all I'm gonna say. So that's all I gotta say. Ray?
Yeah. Hey, y'all. Yeah. So please, get back with us. Yes, when we be covering other shows as well and other issues and topics. So this is Ray Hama, the Hama Force, and this is the Hama Force Geek Table. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you, brother J Life, for coming through. Appreciate you, dear brother, as always. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and donate if you will. Peace out. One versus a million.